So the solutions themselves. So basically, we are talking about two different type of controllers. The first one is on the left side, is what the market calls day-night controller, okay, which just switches between low pressure pilot to high pressure pilot, so night pressure and day pressure, and that achieves some of the pressure management goals. It will definitely reduce leakage, and that's one concept which is, let's say, more economic and popular in some of the places. More advanced, and this the epsilon controller can do it based on flow rate, so get indication for a meter and change the set point, or based on time. The delta is more advanced controller in our family, what we call a full modulation, which means that it can change the set point up to 16 times a day. As you can see, we have only a single pilot in this hydraulic device, which called a bias chamber or a PCBU, and the delta controls the pressure in this device, changes the adjustment of the bolt and the spring tension, and by that the pressure calibration set point. So up to 16 times a day based on flow rate or based on time, flow increases, set point changes, and vice versa. And that's the delta really state-of-the-art product. Okay, and we can't, or it's much recommended to make a pressure management with a data logger in the critical point as a complementary product. So we have a version of the epsilon which can be located in that point and measure the pressure. Actually, in that location, what mostly needed is only measuring a single pressure point, but in this epsilon version, we have two internal pressure sensors and 4 digital inputs. So if there is a water meter, it can be connected as well. And that's the complementary product in the critical point. So two controllers, okay, one epsilon controller and one delta, and the epsilon data logger. Now, in a general perspective, very high-end general perspective, what are the benefits of having digital into a Bermad PRVs or Bermad product? So first, it allows us to make remote control on the valve. So no one needs now to come and change the adjustment locally in the field. We can do it from remote, from our laptop, from our mobile phone, and that's a big benefit. The other second benefit is the data, okay? Before, we were quite blind to what really happening in the network. And now, as much as more sensors that transmit and send the data to a cloud that we will have in the network, we'll have more understanding of what really goes on, going on in the network, and that allow us the monitoring. Based on this monitoring, we can get decisions and to optimize, okay? But the basic thing is to monitor, and that's an important part of this product. Some general other benefits, so we are reducing the non-revenue water, which is quite obvious and important. Reduce operational costs, so we have less burst, less leaks to fix, and reduce environmental impact. So a little bit about the communication of the Delta. We are talking about a controller that communicates to a cloud platform. It has two internal lithium batteries that one serves the electronic themselves and another serves the modem, the communication. It sends the data through a 4G cellular communication and a 2G fallback, and to the cloud, so the user can use his internet connection for the cloud platform and make the changes. The mobile app is connected to the cloud as well, so nearly all the changes can be done through the mobile as well. And locally in the field, we have a technician software that using a Bluetooth, we can make some advanced configuration and make the commissioning, and that's critical for the local operation. Some other differentiation or uniquenesses of the product. So it's cost-effective and very user-friendly. Okay, we got a lot of feedback that it's easy to use. The interface is clear and modern, and that's something which is essential for the user experience. Communication and energy is a key for this type of products, and the modem, again, some feedback that we got that in places where there was a poor signal, it managed to communicate. It's also related to the roaming SIM, which is a SIM, universal SIM. You can use your own SIM, but we have an option to use a universal SIM, a roaming SIM, and by that you find the best cellular provider and get connection also in quite challenging environments. One box solution, okay, so no box for solenoids or for batteries, is all packed in one box, elegant, more easy to install and to maintain. Of course, we are in an environment of a battery standalone products, no need of electric power source, clever pressure optimization, so result of the downstream pressure is very accurate and in high performance. The operation can be offline, like communicate once or twice a day or even every hour, or if we are having an external power source of a solar panel, mains grid, or external battery, we can work in online and get the data in real time. We spoke about the communication of the 4G and the Bluetooth. Okay, two operation modes. One, full modulation with the bias chamber, and there is also option if someone wants to make only two pressures a day night, it can be done with the delta as well as alternative. Some other main features I mentioned already is that we are having up to 16 flow or time windows. In places where there is a relatively low pressure supply and you want to fully open the valve in certain hours, we can do it based on trigger from upstream pressure drop or based on time windows, and fully open the valve, get zero head loss, and that's critical in some places. 3 digital inputs, 2 analog inputs, 2 internal pressure sensors with an accuracy of 0.5%, 0 to 20 bar, and there is also option to connect external pressure transducers. Inside the box itself, the enclosure, there are 2 internal solenoids, DC, very small, high speed, and as mentioned here, they are clog free, so they have relatively big orifice, so they won't clog and make more reliable operation of the unit. 5 years battery life considering communication once a day, internal memory card for 150,000 records. So if we don't have communication for 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, the data is being logged in the unit, and all the approvals of the CE, FCC, and IP68. Last slide before we are moving to some installation photos. So this slide actually put into 2 main points. The main, let's say, differentiation of the delta and our proposal to the market. So, you know, Bermad, we are nearly we celebrate very soon nearly 60 years, okay, of the company, and the company main product at the beginning was those hydraulic control valves which controlled pressure and flow in networks. So all the knowledge of our engineers rely on understanding hydraulics very well, both in the valve itself and both on the entire system. And based on this knowledge, we add this digital layer that now the product is working in high synergy with the PRV. And this PRV is not a very simple product. It's not like a 420 motorized pilot controlling a butterfly valve. It has a pilot, it has a restriction, it has a control chamber, it has a filter, and it works based on differential pressure across the valve and many factor effects. And we took all those things in the algorithm of the unit, which makes the pressure result accurate, stable, and the operation of the unit efficient without draining the battery, and this is critical. And the second point is regards to what client is looking for. In the end, the water utility engineer, all he cares about is the downstream pressure will be based on the desired set points that he mentioned. And if it doesn't get the desired pressure, you give a phone call to the valve manufacturer. The valve manufacturer check the valve, say everything is fine, and then it goes to the controllers, and the controller company says the same, and he stays without an answer. So the fact that here we have one responsibility for the entire system, and we will make it work, that's critical.